That's where I stand anyway.
Any publicity is good publicity, first of all. Right? That's one thing. And I don't know, I mean, I just think we haven't come far enough. 16% of the Fortune 500 companies are run by women. 16%. It's not 20, it's not enough.
Women are still
So-
making less.
Right, 60 cents on the dollar. I guess also, I work in a male-dominated industry. I'm a female electrician in the movie business, constantly reminded every single day, who I am, why I'm here, so it's my battle in a lot of ways. I think also it's like, women weld, right there. I mean, women weld paper. And that's
No, only one woman will take it.
Right, that's one woman welds paper. Thank you. So,
The only one.
I mean, and why not? I'm not ashamed of it. And in some ways, it's gotten me here, as hard as maybe it's been sometimes. So I think that in a lot of ways, just as a personal anecdote, recently I've been working in this very small niche that normally goes to like the old guys, right? The guys that have worked for 25 years, they're near retirement, whatever. They get this position, it's a very nice position. It's a lot less labor, it's better money, whatever. Okay, so now there's a lot of discussion about why I should get it, because I'm young, So I made a joke and I said, listen, a married 43-year-old woman is like a 60-year-old woman. That totally turned the tables. They were able to actually laugh at themselves and think about it. And so, there's still so many things that have to be broken down. There's all different ways to do it. This is one way, I'm happy to have it. Happy to be with women. Really happy to be with women. I think it's unusual. There's usually one.
When I came in this room, when I had the opening, I absolutely, just to connect the past two questions, I saw color as a very strong gender and political statement. I thought it was these are really incredibly strong voices. All these people have something they're not afraid to express, and I thought it was just really obvious. But I mean, maybe it's not because we're talking about it. And then when I was looking at the pieces that aren't so, don't have red or orange, I was seeing how much color there actually is in them and how much strength in the process came through that. So I felt like this is about really strong artists that are absolutely women. I mean, and I knew ahead of time it was a group of women. I was curious about what that meant. And when I walked in and saw the color, I thought it was just really clear. It's not. I mean, maybe that's because I've always been sort of afraid of color, and so it feels very bold to me to use really.
Will you wear in the future, Tom?
This is these are loud and intrusive. I mean, in a good way. Pieces, all of them. They're all really, really powerful, and like they come out at you, and you can go into them, and they're really complete, and there's really clear identities, and I mean I'm not really comparing that to what a show of men would be like, but I'm just seeing that as a group of I don't know that they're really connected, that they're strong.
I feel like going back to just the face, like there's a luxury that we have in women in this day and age, that we can have your opinion, we can have your opinion. We can take the step that the opinion that Georgia O'Keeffe took. She's painting vaginas, and she's like, I'm not painting vaginas, guys. I'm just painting. Like I'm a woman, but I'm painting, and you decide. You decide. Probably Agnes Martin took that step where she's just making art, not as a woman. And then you have Louise Bourgeois, and there's just so many different ways we go about it. We have that luxury, and I love that. And I feel like we need to have those opposing women groups saying, like, just be a woman in paint. You don't have to make fun of women book shows and women discussions, Like you can just be an artist, and then you need the feminists. are very feminist.
I mean, it's the women who wear the bras or who don't wear the bras.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
But that's exactly my point, is that there is like different stages for different areas. So I'm speaking specifically vis-a-vis
Right.
art. I mean, the statistics that you were mentioning earlier suggest that International Women's Day still represents an important point, and we ought to be celebrating that.
Well, it's the same thing if you bring, Black History Month.
Right, exactly.
The same
This is
thing.
clearly important stuff to be doing. My background is in philosophy, where we have there is a philosophy, a women's philosophy reading, women in philosophy. And in the past 2 years, they've now opened that up, so it's not really so much women, it's now, men can go and stuff like that. But because the astonishing lack of women in philosophy has been, and still, Christeva, right? Oh, wow, that's not true. But I mean, it's a much, I think, more, I think that there is a good reason for there to be, women in philosophy groups. But maybe in art, well, no, maybe things are a little different. Maybe, so I guess that's, and in other areas, well, definitely we don't have to be talking about it. Do you see what I mean? So I guess I'm just kind of curious, as to your own sort of identity as women. Anyway, but maybe that's enough on that. I mean, shall we? I mean, I could ask questions here all day, but probably we should maybe.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead. Yes.
Am I allowed to, I'm sort of working for them. I was wondering if you thought art was inherently apolitical, or in a world where maybe you can't afford to completely be apolitical, if there's a point at which it becomes political, or is this largely like a unconscious process, or how conscious do you want it to be? Is that philosophical enough?
No, not sufficiently philosophical. Please do not pose that question.
I think all art is political. I second that.
I think so too, because my mom called me the other day and said, can you believe Janet Pelosi wants to give $50 million to the arts? Hello, artists. So, people, I think they still don't see it as, a valid, true, important thing to have in the world. So that in itself makes it political. Very political.
The choice to create art is a political choice. I mean, that might not be conscious, but the fact that you are creating work that is, you're in the political dialogue.
We're presenting it also. I think the fact that we're putting it up on walls and then having people look at it and discuss it, I think that makes it.
Literature, art, text, all of this, I think, is part of the politics of red and white. What is happening now. You're the dialogue of it.
Well, I sense that, you bring up history. I have lots of questions about history. You bring up nature. I have lots and lots of questions about nature. What the hell, what are you talking about here? And gender, you're talking about, I got a lot of them. So, but I also, I hear the cries of babies in the warm weather.
That's
and
just
we're all
me.
sort of, no,